Welcome back to Just a Man and His Tools. We have another video here today about my excavator. I have made some kind of DIY accessories that I think have worked out really great. Some of them are 3D printed, some of them are made other ways, but I just thought it'd be fun to show you some of these things. Some of it's a little ridiculous, the 3D printed ripper, we'll get there. Other things are a little more practical. So let's start with something I think is pretty practical. I printed this water bottle holder. There's no cup holder on the machine. You're out in the sun, obviously you're thirsty, you want to drink, and so this has come in handy. I've been using it for a few weeks now. My last video where I was digging, I used it the whole day and it's held up really good. It just bolts into these two holes here on the machine that are for the canopy. So wouldn't be the best fit if you already have the canopy. You could modify the file to kind of make it go around the bars, but I just used those existing holes. Had a couple bolts from the old Harbor Freight, ran in a bolt box, and it's worked out really good. So you can just drop it in there, you know, full whatever. I printed this out of carbon fiber PLA, so it's a little stronger than, you know, some cheaper materials, but I wanted it to hold up. Getting bumped and stuff is kind of inevitable. So yeah, it's worked really good. I designed it for the width of this Stanley Quick Flip Go, I think it's called. Mainly because this is the water bottle I like to use when I'm working outside, because the top is kind of wholly covered by the lid. So you're digging in the dirt, stuff's blowing around. It's just nice to be able to drink from a clean mouthpiece. It will fit some other things. It'll fit like a Yeti Rambler. My wife has an Owala bottle. It'll fit for that. So it fits kind of some, you know, a lot of normal water bottles that people are using these days. It'll fit like a bike bottle. So normal stuff. It's pretty flexible. But I did try to make it not too big, just so it doesn't rattle around. But overall, it's worked really good. So yeah, super happy with that. Let's get a close-up here for you. So yeah, as you can see, just bolts on the side there. Nothing crazy. Just used, you know, existing bolt holes. But yeah, I'm super happy with the way it's turned out. And yeah, I'm gonna keep using it for sure. So second thing, another 3D printed item. This file's already out there. I'll make sure all of these are on my printables when I'm done. But the metal key, I called this out in my unboxing video, if you watched that the metal key to open the hood, I don't know, whatever this part is, the engine cover, hood, whatever you want to call it, the triangle was kind of like really loose. And so it felt like it was just gonna like strip out the latch every time I turned it, which wasn't great. So I thought, okay, I will just, you know, 3D print a replacement, and it's held up really good. Also PLACF, just a little guy, nothing fancy, but it's held up great. I mean, obviously I'm not getting in here constantly, but yeah, it fits way better than the original. And I'm super happy with that. Nothing crazy by any means. It's like a, you know, couple minute print on my Centauri Carbon. And yeah, honestly, it's worked out really good. So that's just a little replacement key, and then I put a hole through it so I can just leave it on the keys now. So it's super handy, and it's plastic, so it doesn't, you know, it's not as annoying banging around on the side of the machine. If you were to do that with the original, you know, this would be scuffed to hell and you'd be tired of listening to it. So I think the plastic honestly works out better for that. So that's been super cool. And then the third thing I made, so this was brought out of some inconvenience one day. I was using the excavator and I threw, I think it was actually the track on the other side, but that was super annoying. So I was like, what can I do to get the tools that I need for doing that, and like just a couple other things readily available on the machine. And so the other day I just took some duck canvas and I actually made this little tool roll, but specifically for, you know, this machine. I think some of them come with like a different net and whatnot, but mine's just like an open pocket. So if you were to like leave tools in there and then you tip it up, like everything would fall out. It'd just be clanking around all the time. All in all, it'd be pretty annoying. So I riveted some D-rings on here, and then I made this tool roll, and it unrolls. It doesn't stay on there. You can just take it off, but it unrolls, and it has kind of all the tools that you need for the machine right on here. So this 30 millimeter, I bought a ratcheting one. Just the Husky one from Home Depot was kind of the cheapest I found, which is the size you need for the track tensioner. There's 17 and a 16 reversible ratcheting wrenches. Those are kind of sizes for some other things across the machine, the fittings on the front and everything, if you want to make sure they're tight. A 13 reversible, which is the size you need. Let me move this camera back. It's the size you need for the track tensioner cover. So there's bolts right here that just cover up the track tensioner, and those are a 13. If you do anything like this, so make sure you get a reversible wrench for this one specifically, because the bolts are kind of flush with the side of the track here. So the reversible ones always have that little angle, so you're either going to want a flex head or at least a reversible one, just so you're not like hitting your hand, you know, right on the bolts or on the track there. So that's really nice. And then I just a couple pairs of pliers I threw in here, and this mystery wrench that the machine came with, and honestly I don't know what it's for, but all of it fits in there great. There's a little room if I wanted to add anything else, but I just sewed this up at a duck canvas real quick in the afternoon last week, just to kind of make sure if I'm, you know, all the way across the yard and I throw a track, it's already annoying enough. I don't want to have to run back up to where my tools are and figure anything else out. So I thought, you know, I can just make this, goes right on the machine, and you know, everything's there if I need it. So let me just put this back on here. And it's also nice because it's cloth and it's velcroed on the back here. It doesn't clang around, even if, because I thought about just making a cover for this like back pouch, like a lid, but you'd still, yeah, have stuff bouncing around back there. So it's been dead silent. I've been using the machine since I got this on here, and it stays right on here great. You just cinch it down with the Velcro and you're good to go. So that's super cool. So those are, yeah, super practical things that I've been using. I'll put the files out there, like I said, on my printables account. This I can take some pictures of, but honestly, I mean, you know, mark it up and sew your lines. It's just a tool roll. It's just kind of custom from the machine. But I think probably what everyone wants to see is this 3D printed ripper attachment that I made. So let's get you a better look at that. So this is totally ridiculous, don't get me wrong. There's no good reason in the world for this to exist, but it is a ripper that I designed and printed. So as you can see, it's not really the same design as, you know, a standard ripper would be, because I didn't want it to break. So it's kind of short, obviously, and this front edge is rather plow-like. So theoretically, if this works, what I what I would use it for is really only a few inches long. I just need to like sink some conduit, and so this would work for me for what I'm using it for. Obviously not as practical as a full-size one. And then you'll kind of see here that it is two different colors, and that's obviously not ideal, but I was printing it in PET-GCF and the print failed. Luckily it was on a flat layer because I didn't want to waste all this. I'm not making any money off of this, so I didn't want to buy a whole nother roll because the design was going to take a whole roll of filament. So I reprinted the rest of it in just regular PETG, but super dense and super thick walls. And then I epoxied these layers together. I put some of these plastic weld things in here, and then I also I put some pins through it and epoxied them in. So some of them are pretty deep. Yeah, we're gonna hope it holds together, because if it doesn't, you know, that's gonna be sad. But what we're gonna do, just because this, you know, whole thing here may not hold together at all, is I have like a loose dirt pile that we're gonna try it in first, and then we'll try it in the ground. The ground here is super hard, and it is very rocky, and it's just like dense clay, so it's not ideal by any means to do this. So we're gonna try this. I have like a leftover pile of dirt from last time we got dirt delivered. If we make it through that, then we'll move into actually trying to use it for where I need it for, and we'll go from there. But yeah, let's try it out. Okay, so this is just some dirt. This pile's been sitting here. As you can see, some of it's kind of churned up a little bit. It should be reasonably loose compared to a lot of other dirt on the property, and not nearly as rocky. So let's go ahead and we will fire this up, and yeah, we'll try it out. Hopefully nothing breaks, and if we make it through this, we'll move on to some actual hard ground. Oh, I forgot you can't tip it up all the way. Ha ha ha. And she's broke. That's it. Well, folks, that didn't last long at all. Pretty anticlimactic. There you go. You see right there, she died. So let's go ahead. Let me grab that. We can take a better look at it, at least. Stop this GoPro. Yeah, so I think I crunched it a little bit up top, but it broke clean off on the sides. Honestly, that's not what I expected to see. So I had printed it with a as dense of an infill as I could, with the original idea being to print the whole thing out of PET-GCF, and then, you know, so this is, I think, 35% gyroid infill. It's pretty dense. Honestly, yeah, this is not what I expected. We might have to try this again in the future with, I can probably cut this top off. If I cut all the way around here, I can probably print new ears. Maybe they need to be denser. I don't know. I thought, yeah, this part would have broken. It didn't. Let me see if I can pull these pins out and show you the other part. Keep these clean. This one pin's always kind of a pain in the butt. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so these obviously broke off of here, and so the crunchy part was where I accidentally pulled it out too far, and it crunched. But yeah, it snapped clean off on both sides. At slightly different spots, so not the same layer, but I don't know, within 20 layers or so of each other. But yeah, obviously this didn't work. Maybe I'll try again in the future. But yeah, thanks for joining me.